All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for April 27th, 2023. Game 13 out of 14 to the World Chess Championship ended in a draw today. So Ding Liren from China has one. They have one more classical game to play tomorrow. He's got the white pieces. Winner takes all. If they fight to a draw, then it goes into rapid, and then it's a real crapshoot. I like both of the guys. They're both excellent humans. And my sentimental favorite is Ding from China. He's overcome an awful lot. I like his fighting spirit. So we're going to start with, let's see here. Yeah, we'll start with Alcoa, and these are all on. These charts are all on 30 minutes. So yesterday we closed a +3 in Alcoa. Today we got the PSAR flip, standard entry, standard risk. Closed here with about +1, almost +2. That's pretty good. AI, the software company, nothing. No trade, just stalking. Caterpillar was a real sleigh ride. So this was the trade of the day. So yesterday we got the COTA 2 breakdown and it collapsed. Got a second position on it today after the gap down and sell-off. It bottomed out. There's your peak of the RL10. As it came cruising up, we just took that so that we could have, +1 on the second position, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, +4 on the first position. So that one gives us +5, and then that was followed by a stop and reverse, standard risk, and that did nothing but close right here, and we're holding 1, 2, 3, 4, +4 in parentheses, because you know what will happen with the gap. But there was a good reason to continue to hold that one overnight. Cliff, we closed the short, started the long at the PSAR flip, holding 1. CVS, this was intraday right after lunch. So this is where it bottomed out, had the gap and go. Could not penetrate the PSAR, and spring turned to summer. So on the reversal up, took it, standard risk, closed very well, holding +1, and I'm looking for it to get to here. So looking for another 1 or 2 R out of that one before it gets tricky. Dish Network. This was the short from 2 days ago. We held it here. It gapped up, so we took it at the PSAR flip. So that was +1. That was a stop and reverse, and here's the standard risk on that one. And that's holding +1. And I just decided that was enough. I didn't want too many things to experience the adverse gaps. I was happy for the gift of 1. Devon Energy was an intraday PSAR flip and this is an SSC entry, and holding about +0.5. And let's see, it has to get above, say, 53 and a quarter for it to be interesting. That's where I'll put a second position on. If this fails through 51.75, I'm instantly short with 2 positions. Electronic Arts, we closed. We closed that trade, got long on the COTA 2, standard play. Emerging markets. This one, I think our patience was rewarded. There was the gap up, and it held. So this went here, then reversed, and started going back up. So bought it here, standard risk. And then I just decided to cash +3 because it was at a really strong resistance level. And we've been burned on some gaps lately, so I thought I would just cash 3 as a living reminder that there's another day tomorrow. Just reinitiated the fake 1 go 2 in Ethereum, like in that one, Mexico. This was one where the gap worked against us. So yesterday's entry here on the COTA 2 sold off harshly and was down here, but then the gap up was to here. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, +5 we were holding yesterday became a +1 because it was a 4R adverse gap, and then it held and then started going back up. So COTA 2 entry on the long side, standard risk, and that's holding 2. All in a day's work. Brazil initiated the COTA 2. Intel closed the short, started the long, holding +2. IP. So this is the one where taking the 2-day gift of 1, 2, 3 missed 1, 2, 3, 4. It missed 4 because of deciding to take 3. But then it sold off harshly, and then as it came into the station and the PSAR, this felt like the place to get out. And so we took 1, 2, 3. And we missed that last little stem. So we'll see if that's the bottom. But happy to be flat on that one. IYR. So we had a 2-position short, and it closed well here, and then it gapped up to here. So we just exited the whole shooting match fraction, and then about maybe +2 on that one. This ran straight up, pulled back, held north of the dragon, and started to reverse. When it cleared all of this junk, that looked like a standard risk and long, and then behold, it closed really well. So we're holding +3, and every reason to believe tomorrow it can get above the 10-day high. So I'm liking that one. KRE, this was a gap down in short 2 days ago. It held here yesterday, started to gap up, decided to cash 2, and missed the move up. I'm still not a believer in it. If this starts to fail tomorrow, I think not later than the PSAR, I want to be short or short a second position if it goes here. Still not a believer in that one recovering. But beliefs may or may not be useful. All right, so just for a bit of, history here. So we loved McDonald's because of the fries, if I'm being honest. But we loved it because it was the relative strength leader in the Dow and the S&P. And we had to get out of it here because of the PSAR flip and the collapsing dragon. So we missed all of this. Today there was a gap up and it started to go. So I just put 1 position on. As soon as it cleared spring and became summer, I put a second position on. And then as this took out the previous peak of the previous summer move, I put the third position on, and everything closed well. And so we're holding 3 on the first one, 2 on the second one, 1 on the third one. So we're about 6R on this one and 3 positions, just betting against a big adverse gap tomorrow, but we'll see. Merck, this was that 1 position we covered. Today it gapped down, sold off harsh, just took the SSC. When it cleared this, put the second position on, and now holding 2 positions overnight from here. This was also a relative strength winner, much like McDonald's. This was number 2 in the relative strength, so I kind of like that long, strong move. This just feels like maybe they just had a shakeout, and got all the weak hands out, and now they're ready. It's already here. They're ready to make a break above the 10-day high, and I'll put a third position on. I'm not afraid of that. Marijuana. So this one was a huge gap. It rode up, came back, and started to reverse back up. Bought it. It rolled over right away. Just cashed it. Probably could have got short here, but I got enough overnight risk. Well, let's see that thing settle out first. Clean energy, just we held the short overnight here. It closed like here, but then it gapped up to parity, so it just got out. Studying this as a potential breakout for tomorrow, but I did not take a position or hold anything overnight on that one. Still sorting it out. Rivian was a Kata 2. And winter turned to spring, turned to summer and go. Bought it, standard risk. Holding nicely here on, let's see, 1+2. And if it can break above this 5-day high, off we go. Go Rivian. If I look back a little further, this has a lot of ground to make up. So it really has to kind of get through this whole section here. That is resistance. So if it breaks from here, then I think it gets to here, which on this would be another 1, 2, 3. So cautiously optimistic there. The S&P was amazing today. Yes, and this is sort of the reason yesterday's Kata 2 short and just cash it here and just be grateful for the +3. That means I didn't let a +3 go to -1, and then my emotional state was at a 0. It was easy to buy it, standard risk, and it closed here. So if you were the exiting kind, you could just take +6 and go home. But I like this one because it is at the top of this congestion, and now it's got to get to 415. If it gets beyond that, there's the 30-day high, and this thing is long gone. Treasuries completely missed that entire series of moves over the last 10 days. Tesla, I just can't let it go. It's like a sore tooth. So here was the latest half-hour loss, and today it bottomed out, PSAR flip, so there's a SSC, and like a good fanboy, I just buy it. We're holding +1. If it can get above 166, it should close that gap to 180, and that'll be a tremendous trade. Stranger things have happened. U.S. Steel, that was a 3-banger on the short side here. We covered, and today the PSAR flip, and we're long, and it's just starting to grind, and we're holding +1. So very good day for turning points in the market, and I think a lot of insights in there about, you know, the risks and rewards, the hazards of the overnight gap, and why I just would rather take my turbo intraday, pay for the overnight risk with intraday move money to feel like I'm playing with markets money there a little bit. If you see me taking more than 1 hour losses, it's because of that gap. That's it's hard to catch me intraday on a bigger than 1 hour loss. All right, let's look at the. Can we find the sniper trade of the day, Kenneth? We had a great intraday. We had a great Foundations Q&A today about a 60-minute lecture on the MACD histogram and the Red River, where it comes from, how it developed, how we interpret it, and a tremendous tool where it kind of revealed the long-term secret of finding targets for the 3-day and the 9-day sniper that allows you to use the Red River and the MACD and sort literally thousands of symbols to find the long-term pattern that you really want. A great way to play asset allocation and sector rotation. So all of that was in the Foundation's Q&A today. It was outstanding, if I do say so myself. All right, so we're on the sniper. Here's the intraday. So we're also looking at Alcoa. This is now on the 3-minute chart. And here was the close yesterday. And here was a gap up. It went this high, it went this low, and it closed back here. So that establishes the OR3, the opening range 3 on that opening bar. And then it kind of sold off, held, and then started to give me a 1, 2, 3 entry. So I just bought it with a standard risk and hoping to go long. Supported by this expansion in the MACD, that all felt good. And a half an hour, kind of a false start. Summer has turned to fall, turned to winter. I missed the short. I treat that as a Kata 2 by using the low of the RL10 yesterday and then here. So that feels like the urgent move, 2 legs of a 50% retracement. So this move from peak to here, that's 1/2 of that whole upward move. So I treat this as a Kata 2, buy the PSAR flip, standard risk. It starts stalling right where it stalled before. You're not allowed to be surprised if that stalls right here. So I've got to be stalking an exit somewhere in here, I would think. Oh, it didn't violate. Now it did. So there we are. About +1. Kata 2. +2. Kata 2. +1. And that's enough for the day. The sniper trade Alcoa, just 4 little baby winners. This is a half. That's 1. That's 2. That's a half. That's +4. I want you to notice here, if you drop that straight down into here, what you had was a brief winter into the spring and crossing the 0 line, so you can treat that as your summer trade. In the same way that this one, when you bring that straight down, again, brief moment of winter, but back in the summer and growing all the way to here. Exit. Summer, fall, summer, so you can be re-entering somewhere around there. All ties together. Had a nice note from Hamad. We were working through the details of managing intraday exits and how much to hold overnight. So he had a really good swing trades in both DIA and SPY. The swing trade in SPY, well, actually the intraday in SPY, he turned into a overnight hold with 1/5 of the position. And in DIA, what we talked through was like in the last half hour of the market, it had peaked and was sliding down. And his entries were essentially here, which was this is the opening, and that was a Kata 2. So he just naturally bought it with a standard risk. to the bottom of the dragon. It moved up, held, moved up. When it cleared this, second position because he had 2R in hand. That's a 2R battle drill. Runs straight up, peaks, and comes down here. We just decided that, you know what, that was enough. And when you total it up, there's his risk. And that first position, which is out right about here, gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. And the second position, which enters here, gives you 1, 2, 2.5, which gives you 7. Standard work, no overnight risk. Really nicely done. I guess we need to do charts. Good to see Tim back in good form here. Just masterful self-coaching and marking up and research to get all his stats prepared. So he's on Devon Energy on the 3s. Let's see, gap up and now likes the short. Quick cover, PSAR flip, gets paid. Quick loss, PSAR flip, and crossing a declining VWAP. Instant smash. I think you could exit here, as he notes. He takes this one, stop and reverse. 0.4 for the day on that one. Good professional work. U.S. Steel, he does some grinding, gets 1.2. Surge, that's like a Kata 2 outside the dragon. Gets paid, re-enter, quick scratch, stop and reverse, crushes it. Quick exit, reverse, quick exit, total of 1.2, so now he's at 1.6 so far for the day. Nice work. NVIDIA, he crushes for 6.5, totals 8 for the day. OR3, he's able to take that second position when it breaks below the collapsing dragon. Perfect exit at the edge of the river, just like downtown. Good, good, good. 8 for the day. Welcome back. Proud of you. Hamad, let's see what we got going here. So I still think you're not stalking patterns and demanding excellent setups, because on the 30, he's doing the 30 and the 10. This is as sideways quiet channel as you can get. There is no breakout, and if you're trading around inside this, good chance the crocodiles are going to get you. And that's reflected by just how little room there is. If that's your standard risk, there just isn't, there's no tradable moves in there. And it's because of this. A breakout from 29.41 or below 28.60 is where you want to be for big breakouts. But that is just a recipe to get chewed up. So quick scratch, lucky to get out of there with that. Did I mention getting chewed up inside a tight crocodile river? Quick loss, quick win, quick win. That looks like about, let's see if I were to total that up. Minus 0.07, plus 0.05, and 0.03. So that's a fractional. That's a lot of work to make sawdust, and you're trading inside the bottleneck. Getting ready to break out. Like what I would do here is I would just say, look, here's the Z3 pinch maximum. That's the point of the narrowest compression. How big is that box? 35 to 36.34. That's $1.30. The previous like Z2 excursion was up around in here. So it could get to 38. That's 1.3. Could it get to here? Yeah, that's your last Z3 excursion. Sure. So instead of chopping around in here, let it break out and then try for that move. But, you know, you got a fraction that paid for your trading, but you're trading inside the river. EWZ. Now, this is already better because you have the pinch. And I don't mind this as a fake one, go to, and now you're outside of Z2. I like that. I love the quick exit. I love the re-entry and getting paid enough to cover for that one. That's actually a little bit more. But this was, I think, just to pay for this, because there was more. There was no indication of getting out, but you're all right. You might do a hits the Bollinger Band means and hold support. There's a COTA 2, and there's a 1, 2, 3 entry. Or there's the RLXD entry, or there's the PSAR entry. All three of those are better than this one and would have doubled your or tripled your return. Nice play in the S&P. Could have added, crushed it. That's the one he turned into a swing. And that's nice because it just broke out of this Z3 pinch. And that's where he cashed 80%. And now he's holding the swing. And if that keeps going tomorrow, put that entry right back on. Minimize your overnight exposure. And then the Dow, this is his, oops. Yep. He got the 2 positions in. And sweet exit right there. That's how you do it. 7R, the way I mapped it out. Now he's basing that on, he's using, 10 times that, so he gets a 0.8 essentially. So very conservative effort. And very kind note you sent me, which said it's the best you've been trading in 15 years. I'm humbled and encouraged and giving you the praise because you're doing the work. All right, this is is this Peter? Brian. That's right. Notice the size of the Z3 pinch and where the Z3 excursion is. We can get long here with a COTA 2 here and the third position here and then all exit here or exit here out from those two. I like that COTA 2 re-entry and quick scratch. I like the short. Get paid, stop and reverse, and crushed it. Might have taken the second position because it had cleared this hump. 4.3. Pretty nice day at work on the conservative Dow Jones Industrials. And you can trade that with the futures too at $5 a pip. Just saying. The YZ. FSLR, now that got smashed in the evening trade, missed its earnings. But such is just working. Oops, I'm sorry, hit the stop the share. Sorry. Were you able to see Brian's trade, or did it just go off as I hit FSLR? Okay, I think you saw that other trade. All right, so here is the yesterday's close, gap up, sell off, but it's a COTA 2. So he gets a 1, 2, 3, gets paid, re-enters, gets paid for 4.5 for the day. We'll take it and be glad. Your question was FSLR in the after hours. I'd stay away from the after hours. I would trade currencies or index futures, but there's no edge in trading individual companies in the aftermarket. They are so thin, and they will drive you berserk. I just wouldn't do it. I would notice which ones were really active overnight, because you're going to find the biggest gaps and therefore the biggest follow-throughs. I would rather trade it during the regular market hours, where there's a lot of volume and more reliable volatility, especially with the numbers you're putting up. Take a break at night. Be ready for the next day with a clear head. That's my personal advice. You can see Peter D now is applying the coaching lessons of the MACD session from yesterday. Listen to the Foundations Q&A from today for that MACD. If you haven't taken that course, you should take the course. I dropped the price in half down to $1,000, and you get lifetime access, and that's the one that I update the most. And you're going to get 100 hours, maybe even 200 hours of Q&A that is recorded. My brother said no volume to support our system, and I thought, oh, he meant trading volume, not recording volume, sorry. So quick scratch, re-entry gets paid, SSC entry hits it. I don't mind the short. You're so close to the VWAP that that's worth a shot, but it immediately starts working against you. I'd get out right here and then get long here and then try to cash in here for a micro win. But good trade, great trade. I think you could get short a second position at either one of those collapsing dragons. Great exit. And notice how he's using his lines to learn how to use the seasons of MACD to let you know when it's time to shift your orientation. This one was time to shift because it had been in the summer, quick fall, the summer was weak and started failing, and it came out of the Red River. We talked about that one extensively in the MACD lesson from tonight. So I encourage you to check that out. What I would say is today was a big vote of confidence based on some economics and great turnaround in Caterpillar, but it's holding right there. And if that holds, this looks like a double stack of a COTA 2, super COTA 2, and it's poised to break above the 150-day high when it's free and clear. I want you to notice just how important that big gap was today. So yesterday you saw me cash a lot of good shorts on a weak close at the end of the day. And why is that? Because we're in a bull and you had 2 days of harsh selling. How much more did you want by going against the primary trend and get 2 days of selling? And then just notice that little gap right there would have erased half the gains from the swings that enjoyed that move. So that gap is large. And a large gap predicts a large follow through. In this case, it happened to be up. It did nothing but go straight up, got almost through the dragon, and is close to a PSAR flip and a local high. Up it goes. And this is what I mean by, even if you go just to the 30-minute, we had this double short, yesterday's gift short, and I elected to take that exit yesterday. You saw me take that exit yesterday right there and said enough was enough. And now this is the gap. Now if you stay overnight hoping for more, the cost of that would be, instead of cashing +3, you end up losing 1, so a net loss of 4. Whereas, you don't got to guess the gap right. Just now it's zero state entry, and even if you decided to exit here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7. And why hold this overnight when you're staring right into that wall of, and then everybody that made money on that wants to preserve. So if there's any weakness, it should accelerate and start eating away at those gains. So why even think about that overnight? Just take it. Now, if tomorrow features a tactical sell-off to here, then you can play a COTA 2 if it resumes and then add a position here. Bull quiet, nice recovery. Green bullish, risk on. All good. McDonald's, Microsoft, Diamonds. That's the team. Lots of good 551Ws as reinforcement plays. Microsoft crushing it. Lots of 551Ws. Lots of auto framers that pay off. Plenty of auto framers. I'll leave it to you for that in the squeeze. Not much squeeze today because it was a large range directional day. That feels like a turning point kind of a day. So Tesla, that's your marching orders to start working. Snipers on Godzilla, we are reduced to just 3 in the S&P 500. All fairly quiet. And then just the VIX is on the Godzilla for today. Standard work, lots of falls, and only a couple volatile ones. That means there was exceptional buying pressure in the semis and Microsoft and in Intel. That's where you look. Those 3. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Fairly broad-based strength. So when that happens, you look for the ones that are really winning. Greens across the board. There's your tech, Euro-Asia, Apple, Microsoft, and McDonald's done in one. All right, guys, that's everything we got for today. We'll get it published and posted. That foundations course is excellent. You still got about 2.5 weeks for the the one-time lifetime deal for the Knowledge Project. I put so much goodness in there today, I just can't stand it. It's a great deal, a great legacy. Very proud of that work. Had a long conversation with Miracy, the guys who are doing the hybrid course university. They may end up hiring me to do some educational content for them to help them see how to use AI in developing of business plans and education. They would have to rate me a pretty sweet deal to get a lot of my time to take me away from this. But they did about 40 million in sales last year, so they could actually write a nice check. We'll see. Not my intention, but we'll see how that goes. That's everything I got for tonight. I should also say I put a link to I put the Protreptic coaching course on sale. That's a chance for you to do a home study course in the style of coaching that I specialize in. And you can see me taking that master class from the Danish philosopher team who resurrected Aristotle's coaching techniques. I paid for a intense one-on-one workshop session with them, so I could really focus on getting it, and we turned that into a home study course. It's on sale for about $300. The link is on the Patreon website. Very highly recommended. If you take that course, I'll give you a $500 coupon on any other course if you're in the sound of my voice. So take good care, and we'll see you tomorrow.